Martial arts star Jean-Claude Van Damme fought that drug addiction and comes clean to our Aaron Sebula in this exclusive set visit to his new action film, The Hardcore.
Yes, Muscles from Brussels is back with a brand new film and a little on-screen romance.
Yes, that's Jean-Claude Van Damme on the set of his new film, The Hardcore, co-starring Kill Bill vixen Vivica Fox.
I hear that there's some heat between you and Vivica.
Right. In the story, we have lots of heat going on.
Yeah.
And in fact, we shot the kiss in slow motion.
Jean-Claude plays a hardened vet hired to protect a former heavyweight champion. Today, the 42-year-old looks ripped and relaxed.
I took a break, and I became more, I guess, mature. We all make mistakes, but it's good to be true.
Thanks to his family, he finally kicked his habit.
This is Bianca, it's my daughter. She's 15 years old.
Nice to meet you again.
Thank you.
Hi, E.T. Canada. Welcome to the
Hardcore. No, hardcore.
Van Damme hopes this will be the beginning of a new career in film.
Can you still do the splits?
Yeah, I can
You
do.
can?
Yeah.
Would you show me?
No.
I guess it might not work in a suit.
Okay, no splits today, but Jean-Claude will put those classic moves to use very soon.
After 20 years, we're gonna do a Bloodsport 2, and I will be there. I will be fighting later, of course, yeah, because I can still move good.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Jean-Claude Van Damme cast. It is Jeff and John in studio to review 2006's The Hardcore. This rated R action thriller is an hour and 50 minutes, very long film.
Yes.
About an Army veteran assembling a team of bodyguards to protect a former boxer. Complications arise when the boxer suspects his sister may be romantically involved with the bodyguard. I don't think complications really arise because of that.
No.
That's just part of the story.
Yeah.
That synopsis had me for a little bit, and then it fell apart. Release date was August 15th, 2006. The tagline is, "Justice just hit the streets."
It would have been better if it was Justice just hit the fan. That's what I was hoping for.
The director is Sheldon Lettich, writers Sheldon Lettich and George Saunders. In the cast, Van Damme plays Philippe Sauvage. Razak Adodi as Raz Adodi plays Wayne Barclay. Vivica Fox plays Tamara Barclay. I didn't even know that they said her name throughout the whole thing. Vivica is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. She
looks great in this.
Yep.
She still looks good to this day. She looked great in Sharknado 4.
Yep. Peter Bryant plays
wait.
Mullins. Ron Botita plays the Detective Teague. Viv Leacock plays Terrell Singletary, a.k.a. Suge Knight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Adrian Holmes plays Cujo. Mark Griffin, Casey Bledsoe. Ron Selmore as Simcoe. And I think that's good enough.
What about the dogs?
The dogs are played by the dogs. Let's see. One more person I'll say. Julian Christopher was Clarence Bowden in here as well. And Raz, you might know from Doom as Duke. Amistad as Yamba. Resident Evil as Sergeant Peyton.
Oh, wow, no kidding.
Yeah, he's got 36 credits to his name. I figured he'd have a little bit more than that. Let's see. He was in The Librarians as the doorman. CIS Las Guidi as Officer Ebenezer Bassey.
That's, wow.
NCIS is Mike Sullivan. Second in command is Sergeant Earl Gunny Darnell.
Holy crap. I did not even recognize him.
I was just gonna say, I knew that. I was gonna see if I could get your reaction on that.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I knew him, yeah. Let's see. He was in Black Hawk Down as well. Malalim.
It's funny that he was in Black Hawk Down.
I know, right? Yeah, and then in the
a carbon copy of Black Hawk Down.
Yes. All right. So that about wraps that up for Raz. Vivica A. Fox. Jeez, man. How would you not know her? The Kill Bills, Vernita Green, Independence Day.
Sharknado 2.
Sharknado 2. She's still doing stuff. She has over 166 credits to her name. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think if she's been anything recently that people would know. Oh, Chocolate City, Vegas. That one looks good.
Sounds tasty.
Gay Skit Happens, a 2016 TV series.
Huh.
She was in Independence Day Resurgence as Jasmine Hiller.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Scooby-Doo Mystery and Scooby-Doo Stage Fright.
Oh, everyone knows that.
Yeah, man. Cool Cat Stops Bullying.
Is that animated or feature like an animated character?
Yes. Yep. That's what it looks like, actually.
We should review it.
Eric Estrada is also in it, too.
Hell yes.
Butch the Bully picks on Cool Cat and Maria, and then Cool Cat learns what to do, and he helps to stop bullying in a non-violent way. Then everyone has fun. 12 minutes.
Ooh, it'll be a nice short watch.
Yeah. Get that Patreon going.
Yeah.
All right, I won't continue on with hers. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna Clarence Bowden's character, Julian Christopher playing Clarence Bowden. I figured he'd be in a lot more. Well, he's in 107 credits, but it looks like he's kind of background characters. He was in the X-Files of the 2016 series.
I never watched it.
I haven't seen that season either. Elysium as Armadine Investor.
Oh, hey.
Once Upon a Time as an adoption agent. Fringe as General Tonks. He's done a lot of TV and a lot of TV movies. 88 Minutes as MacTire. Bionic Woman, the 2007 TV series. He was the president.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that one?
No.
They tried, man. They tried. I think it was only one season.
The world just wasn't ready.
Yep. No. Smallville is Dr. McIntyre. He plays a lot of judges and doctors here. I'm like looking through. Judge Biederman, Judge Frost.
So this is just
Chief Enhorn, Bishop Gregory, a lot of Air Force General.
So this is
District
kind of
Attorney.
This role's kind of a departure for him then.
Yeah, man. Wow, Detective Garvey, Dr. Santos. Colonel Ebb. Goodness gracious. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, guys. I'll stop with that. Now getting into the movie. So we start this movie up, and guess what? It's Sony Pictures again. They're back with Van Damme. I didn't expect to see that.
No, it's a trend that continues too.
Yeah, and it opens up in what looks to be some sort of hospital. We're taking a look at some people, some guys walking around with no legs, but he has prosthetics on.
Mm-hmm.
And some guys without arms, so you're starting to think, oh, okay, this is probably some VA hospital. And we see Van Damme on his bed. It looks like he's having a flashback. He's seen fighting some terrorists. This goes back and forth with him in the room in the flashback. Then it cuts over to some dude in a boxing match getting knocked out. Another guy getting his hand raised, which then turns into some guy on watching this boxing 30 for 30 is the best way I could say it, or like a Showtime boxing premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And he's smoking a cigar. Now we're in some boardroom, and they're watching the news. We see that the guy smoking the cigar is some Suge Knight type, and that's Terrell. They find out that he's getting out of jail and put on probation. The people in the boardroom are worried that Wayne is going to get killed. We find out that Wayne was the boxer in that TV special, who's a boxer turned basically investor turned philanthropist. Yeah, he's got a lot on his board. His sister's worried for him, along with the head of his security, thinking that Wayne needs some extra protection. Terrell is getting out of jail. Reporters rush him and are trying to ask him questions. He gets in a giant, F-150 limo.
Yeah.
That thing was absolutely insane.
Yeah, that was a big-ass stretch limo, all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, big old Ford emblem on the front of it. I was like, why would they make this?
I know.
Why would they make this?
Was that back before they had Humvee limos or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, was it supposed to be an expedition limo?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know.
I could understand if it was like an Escalade limo or something.
Right, that's what I thought too. Like at first I go, oh, is that an Escalade? But I saw the big blue Ford Inscription oval on the front and knew right away. I was like, oh no, this is something totally different.
It was an Explorer limo, or I don't really know.
The only thing I could think of was it being an Expedition because that's the bigger SUV out of the Explorer.
Right. Yeah.
So like there wasn't no tailgate on the back of it where it would be an F-150 or F-350 or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, really weird. Back to the security guard trying to get his buddy for extra protection. This is Clarence that we were talking about earlier. His buddy's in the VA hospital looking at Van Damme. He tells him he's got a mission for Van Damme. He found them a gig. So Terrell pulls up in front of a mansion to be welcomed home. His nephew is trying to convince his uncle not to do anything stupid while on probation. His nephew is a lawyer that his uncle Terrell put him through law school and helped him out, but his uncle is still wrapped up in the game.
Is that wrapped up with an R or with a W?
The way that this movie is handled, I feel like it would be wrapped up with an R because it sounds like this is a movie that a bunch of white people wrote.
Yes.
And then they're like, I think this is how things go, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've watched my share of Tupac films. The sergeant comes in with Van Damme to talk about protecting her brother. And they were going back and forth. Vivica A. Fox doesn't know if she really likes Van Damme or not. She likes the sergeant, and looks like things are going to be good. Sergeant and Van Damme are talking back and forth, and he hits them with the line of, when's the last time you've had your ham glazed? And I started laughing. That was wonderful. Van Damme's like, let's not talk about that. And he's like, I think you need to. So they're going to give the guys a trial run at some hip-hop club. Wayne shows up. Van Damme and the sergeant are looking all over the place, checking to make sure everything's okay. Van Damme goes into the club, starts having a PTSD situation, flashbacks with all the lights and the noises. The sister automatically is like, Van Damme isn't going to work out. And Van Damme thinks he's not going to work out. He tells the head of security, he's like, I'm going to go outside and keep an eye on the car. So the sergeant and Van Damme are talking and waiting for the car to show up. Wayne comes out signing autographs for fans as the car comes up to pull up to let them in. And all of a sudden, this gang members come out in some type of SUV themselves, start shooting. Van Damme starts shooting back. The bad guys crash. Van Damme kills them. Then it's like, oh no, the sergeant was shot in the neck and he dies. The head of security gets shot in the back. The sergeant gets shot in the neck. He's dead. Van Damme is with him when he dies. Everyone is sad. Switches over at the funeral. Flag draped over the casket. Van Damme gives the eulogy. We get the 21 gun salute and taps playing. And Vivica A. Fox is like, Mr. Sauvage, can we offer you a ride? And right when they're talking and whatnot, the detective comes up and is like, are you Philippe Sauvage? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're under arrest. They're like, what? We're back to Terrell's place. All these women in bikinis dancing. That's kind of like my house.
Hell yeah.
I could relate. The guys who try to kill Wayne come into the house to talk about what happened. Terrell is feeding the dogs while they're basically saying we failed. Terrell's right-hand man just stabs one of the gang members and starts cutting him up and feeds him to the dogs. It was gross but cool.
And he ate his liver.
Yeah, man. It was,
Yeah, that guy he was a weirdo.
Yeah, he was. So they try to figure out another plan to kill him. They find out that he's hooking up with this girl. He has these random rendezvous, and they're going to do it while he's with her. The sister gets Van Damme out of jail. They want Van Damme to be the head of security. He's questioning it because he's like, I just lost a very close friend. I don't think I can do this. We're like, no, you haven't lost close friends in battle?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, you're right. I have. I should go forward with this. So Vivica drops him off at the VA, and she's like, are you sure this is where you want to go to? He's like, yeah. So we find out that's like Walter Reed Hospital. I was like, oh, wow. And we're back to Wayne at the Metro Police to talk with the detective. The detective wants to talk with him alone. He brings him in to talk about Van Damme, letting him know that, like, Van Damme killed a bunch of kids, was a huge massacre, and that's why he was at Walter Reed. And that's not the truth. Come to
It's
find
fake
out.
news.
Fake news from Al Jazeera.
Yep. Evil Al Jazeera news. Propaganda rag.
Yeah, you would think that Fox made this with how that panned out. The detective tells him he's just trying to look out for the boxer. Meanwhile, Vivica is talking with Van Damme. They're talking about family, and Van Damme's like, oh, I really didn't have any, just, people who are dead now. She's like, yeah, my brothers, but then she corrects herself to just say one, where it's like, uh-oh, something happened here. Yeah. She offers Van Damme a drink. He tells her no, he had a problem with it, so she gives him water instead, and tells her about the update on his team. They decide to play pool together, in which Van Damme is checking her out, trying not to while she's shooting pool, and can you blame him? They watch one of the Wayne's fights when he comes in, and Wayne is like looking at Van Damme all weird and trying to think, do I want this guy here? Then we get a titular line, the hardcore.
Uh-huh.
We get it right there. Van Damme wants Barclay to fire some of the guys that he has and get some better ones. They go to the place where Wayne used to train, and Van Damme wants to talk to him in private when they're there. He's like, I don't want any of your amateur guys, but Wayne convinces him otherwise. He's like, just watch, stick around, see if there's some good ones here. They see one guy who's kind of short but ripped and a black belt in something or other. And Van Damme basically makes the size comment about like, hey, don't underestimate him because of his size.
Some people you don't want to stick out as a bodyguard.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had that. And Van Damme, after basically saying that, starts talking shit about the girl who's trying out. Yeah. And they start fighting back and forth.
That's funny. This is his first actual fight in the movie that wasn't a gunfight.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's funny too? Like, this is, I think, the first time ever Van Damme has put down a woman as a fighter or anything like that.
Yeah.
Usually he's pretty encouraging about stuff, and in this one it was the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny. He's talking shit about her right after he says all this stuff to Wayne about, don't underestimate him. It looks better this way, and She holds her own against him, and then he's like, would any of you take a bullet for Mr. Barclay? And she's like, hey, give me a chance. She's the real thing. Van Damme's like, you're a candidate. We see that a cowboy shows up starting to watch while they're fighting. She lands a nice kick. Then, Van Damme kind of smiles at her and he's like, all right. Meanwhile, while the cowboy and Wayne are watching, they're talking with one another, find out that this is Van Damme's buddy who's a drill sergeant coming to help him out. Wayne goes for the fist bump, and the drill sergeant does the rock, paper, scissors. That was pretty funny. We get another titular line, except it's in the hardcore rap song.
Yep.
Like, it's
just
the
theme song.
The theme song of the film. So there's that, and that's said a bunch of times in it. I don't even know. There was
they actually say it a couple times too in other parts of the movie, I believe.
Oh yeah. No, it still continues. Van Damme takes all of them to the gun range. He's doing the bit of like telling her, hey, don't hold the gun at a slant, always forward. The girl candidate asks him if he's killed a lot of people. He has a flashback. She brings him back. He tells her it's her turn. His drill sergeant buddy looks worried. They go back to Wayne's place. Vivica starts making some military jokes. Eddie, soldier, they're talking. She's looking at the stars to ease her mind while Van Damme's doing his rounds around the place. She makes a don't ask, don't tell joke about what she's drinking. She starts to ask him about like the kids and his situation, and then Van Damme's telling the story but stops and he's like, oh, it's a cloudy night, referencing her saying she's looking at the stars. They make more jokes back and forth. She kisses him on the cheek. He looks conflicted. Meanwhile, Wayne is staring from his balcony. Van Damme continues to walk the perimeter, sees someone sneaking. He tackles him. It's Wayne trying to get out. Wayne's trying to convince Van Damme to let him go meet up with his private rendezvous. Van Damme's like, no, I'm coming no matter what. They're sitting in the car. Van Damme makes some joke about the hip-hop song that was playing. And then they start talking about Van Damme and his sister. Van Damme says, I don't mess around with he says, I don't fraternize with my superiors. And that was a pretty funny back and forth. We see that the girl that Wayne's meeting up is talking with someone on the phone.
She had like a really weird accent.
Yeah, she was like trying to be Australian, but then like she would kind of lose her accent.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Or maybe she was Australian and she was trying to be American and losing her
that's
accent.
true. Yeah, who knows?
Who
I mean, I'm
knows?
sure if I looked up the credits, I could tell you, but I don't feel like it. Van Damme and Wayne are talking, and Wayne says he needs some, but that Van Damme needs some, but not from my sister. And that's another funny little situation with them. Wayne and the girl are messing around inside, but he's looking concerned. He feels like something's up. She's trying to get it on with them. Van Damme starts walking in the alley behind the house. Car pulls up, looking at the driver. Driver is trying to get Wayne on the phone. And meanwhile, Wayne's messing around with the girl. Van Damme hides while the car goes down the alley. They stop, get out with some machine guns, start walking towards the house. Wayne is done doing what he came to do, grabs water from the refrigerator. She's like, I thought you were going to spend the night. Someone knocks on the door, and he's like, who's that? She's like, some fool that wants your autograph. She opens the door. Guy goes in. He's like, if you have any prayers, I suggest you say them now. Big, huge fight breaks out. Van Damme, knocks him down. Van Damme grabs
the window.
Yeah, grabs another guy. Guy comes up with Van Damme, pulls a gun on Van Damme. Barclay is punching out a dude. Van Damme kicks through the window. Girl is trying to stab the bad guy. They set this up at first to make it look like the girl was in on him.
Yeah.
She grabs the knife, and you're thinking she's going to try to stab Wayne.
That's what I thought, too.
And no, that's not the case. Drill sergeant comes in. The three guys get caught. The main guy says, they're all dead, especially you, bitch. She knocks him out. That was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you want a piece of me? And Wayne's like, not a word of this to my sister. She'll go bananas. And he tells Van Damme he's still going to show up at the grand opening of the Sportsplex. The mayor's going to be there. Why wouldn't he? Van Damme still doesn't think it's a good idea. Wayne doesn't want to hear what Van Damme has to say when they're at the Sportsplex. Mayor shows up. I was guessing the mayor was really the hitman. That would have been the best undercover ever.
It's true.
You candidate to become mayor just so that you could kill Wayne Barclay out of
Deep
nowhere.
cover.
Yep, huge deep cover. So Van Damme and his hardcore team are all walking in with Wayne. One dude gets overzealous trying to get an autograph. Van Damme pushes him back and gets the stink eye. Van Damme is looking at all of these kids looking like he wants to kill them all. The mayor introduces Wayne. Van Damme is freaking out. Sees one dude that looks like Blade. I realized this was Terrell's right-hand man. He just didn't have his hat on at the time.
He had that haircut was big for a minute.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he had that. It was
the
it's
V
like a
thing in the hair.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. And he's just about to pull something out of his jacket when all the team swarms him and tackles him. It was his phone, and he's like, "You made me miss my call. Oh, it was from my mom too." So the detective shows up, basically like, "I should have you all arrested for assault." Blah blah blah. And the detective's doing an interview with the TV, saying this was all set up, that it was probably some racist motivation.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny that he would say something like that, since basically Van Damme and the drill sergeant are the only white dudes on the team.
Now, you don't have to be white to be racist against black people.
Right. No, I hear you. But is it racist if black people hate black people?
Of course.
But what if it's not because they don't hate them for their skin color though?
Well,
They
then
just
it's probably
hate 'em.
not racist.
So,
But if they assume something because of their skin color, then it is racist.
then it is racist. Okay, look at that. See, you guys learn.
now-
You learn
yep.
stuff. We see that the dude that wanted the autograph actually had a gun in that DVD VHS case, and Wayne is freaking out and it basically blows up on Van Damme, saying, "Why were you locked up in the psychiatric ward?" Van Damme says he quits, but they need to talk about a severance package, and then they're like, "We're gonna fight each other now."
It all went from 0 to 50 really, really fast.
Yeah, dude, definitely. So they go to the gym, and Van Damme says you need to bring the ice packs and the painkillers. So the guys show up, and the drill sergeant's talking with the rest of the team, and he's like, "Did you bring the ice packs and painkillers?" And all laughing, and he's like, "Yeah, right here." And he pulls out a Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
And they're placing bets. Van Damme says he's not looking for a fair fight. Wayne jumps out of the ring. They start fighting. Van Damme's getting the upper hand. I'm like, Wayne is so oiled up. Van Damme hits him. He slides across the floor 10 feet. Van Van Damme's getting some good punches. Wayne gets some good punches in on him. They're decent back and forth. Van Damme does a sweep kick on him. They tussle on the ground, start choking each other out.
It was probably the best fight scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Until the guys run in from the team saying that they have a problem. Someone's been shot. Where's my sister at? We see that it was the girl on the team's been really badly beaten up and that they took the sister. The dude that they tackled, the right-hand man, that's who did it. So Van Damme tells her not to say shit to the police. The sister is bait. The detective comes in to ask some questions. The nurse basically puts everyone in their place and is like, get the fuck out of here. She's just coming out of a coma. Meanwhile, the detective's like, what happened to you two? And he's like, you get in a car crash? And I think Wayne says something along his line of, let's just say it was a collision. The detective lets it slip, asking about Wayne's sister, and everyone starts freaking out on him about it. Wayne lets Van Damme know about the detective telling him about the PTSD story. Van Damme tells him the truth. He said, I'd never kill anyone unless they were trying to kill him. Really, a suicide bomber took a girl hostage, goes into the school and blows up everything. And Al Jazeera was the one that reported the story wrong.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Wayne
talks... Yeah. Wayne talks about Terrell offering money to throw his first fight, and that's where like the bad blood comes in. He mentions his brother that got gunned down while at home, and no one knew who did it or why. We see next, Wayne gets a call from his girl. She's being held hostage and told to come over. She tells him to come over, but don't bring your bodyguard. Wah, wah, wah. Yep. It's the detective, and he's with the gang members.
Who would have thought?
And the detective's saying, like, hey, I'm just trying to offer you an olive branch. I'm just looking out for you. I'm still your #1 fan, blah, blah, blah. Van Damme cuts the power on the place. Like, they bust through the windows. Wayne knocks the dude out. The guys storm the place. Van Damme changed really fast into his camo. Like,
with night
really
vision goggles
fast.
And everything.
Yep. That was pretty awesome that he had that game plan going.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, the guys jump out of the back of the Jeep that's on the way to Terrell's place while they go through the gate. Wayne is supposed to show up on his own. Wayne holds the detective hostage. The right-hand man is saying that your guest brought friends to Terrell. Terrell starts pulling out his guns. His attorney nephew is like, come on, how about I check them? And his uncle's like, just check on the girl. So his nephew tells the guys who had her, Vivica A. Fox, as a prisoner, he tells them to leave and go down to the garage. And he starts apologizing to Vivica, uncuffs her. When Van Damme and the drill sergeant bust in, we get another hardcore titular line here again. And then we start into this crazy gunfight. Terrell shoots the detective. He's like, fuck this hostage. Just shoots him, man.
Yeah. This gunfight was ridiculous. Like, so many people just throwing bullets in every direction.
Every direction, man. So much so. It was funny. There was a little funny line. The right-hand man won't give Terrell his last clip. Instead, he just uses it up and takes off. Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. Terrell says he'll tell Wayne who took out his brother if they put their guns down. We're businessmen. So they both put their guns down, but dun, dun, dun. Terrell pulls out a gun, shoots Wayne in the shoulder. The nephew pulls out a gun, comes downstairs like, hey, don't do this. Stop, Uncle Terrell. And he shoots his own nephew.
Very sad.
Wayne attacks Terrell after he does it. The head security guard gets shot. The drill sergeant gets shot. Van Damme shoots a bunch of dudes. The right-hand man and Van Damme start fighting by the dogs. Pretty good back and forth with the right-hand man trying to stab Van Damme as Wayne and Terrell fight back and forth. He puts the plumber's wrench into Barclay's bullet wound. Like,
yes.
Terrell does. Oh, that's so, like,
that's
funny.
Grizzly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Didn't expect it.
No, you didn't expect something like that. Van Damme kicks the right-hand man into a dog cage, and the dogs start attacking him. All of a sudden, the dude who was at the sports complex says, Mr. Barclay, can I have your autograph? And he's pulling out a gun. They're pointing guns at him, that dude, and Terrell. Van Damme comes in, shoots that dude. Wayne knocks Terrell under a car that's getting worked on, releases the lever. The car smashes him to bits. Van Damme got shot by Terrell. Wayne thinks he's dead, but there's the bulletproof vest on, and he's like,
that he never offered to anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously. That fucking hurt. The drill sergeant is being wheeled off to get taken care of. The head security guard is being taken care of. They look at the dead guys, which is the detective and the nephew, unfortunately. And then we see Vivica and Wayne start arguing about firing Van Damme. The girlfriend shows up. The sister starts kissing Van Damme. both Vivica and Van Damme tell Wayne, turn around. And then they start making out. Wayne turns back around and starts smiling. They smile at each other, and then it ends with another repeat of the hardcore song.
And presumably everyone went to prison.
Yep, exactly. And that was the end of that. That was hardcore. And a lot of titular lines in this. I don't think there was any headbutts.
Not really any chases either.
Yeah, not really any chases. I was surprised with that. No splits.
No groin attacks that I can think of.
Yeah, no groin attacks in this one. Man, yeah, no screaming, no nose. I thought for sure that we'd get some screaming after his buddy Clarence died at the beginning.
Yeah, I think he screamed when the school blew up.
Yeah, he might have. I can't recall because I was too petrified by the suicide bomber going into school and blowing up, and I just R.I.P. those actor children. All right, so I guess that gets to our point of the episode where we do our splits review. So out of 10 splits, what would you give this?
Well, it was an alright movie. Some parts I really enjoyed. It was just entirely too long. It was about half an hour too long.
Definitely agree with you there. Half an hour too long. Way too long. A 2-hour action movie that's not Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's too much plot buildup, and like putting the team together took way too long. And like it was an hour and 10 minutes in the movie before they even started putting together a team.
Yeah.
And then the team hardly has anything to do with what happens in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So really, like, Van Damme's the only hardcore one with his drill sergeant buddy. That's it. The rest of the team don't really do too much besides get accused of racism and the girl getting shot and beat up.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, out of 10, I'd probably give it 7.
Wow. I'm gonna go a half a point down from you. I'm giving it
6.5.
6.5.
I was on the fence.
I think because the movie's so long, that's why it gets a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a cool idea. I think I would definitely probably put this movie at a 7 if they cut out a lot of the bullshit in it.
Yes.
And maybe
it had cool scenes and elements in it.
Yeah, cool idea, cool story. Vivica does a great job. Raz did a great job. Van Damme did a great job. I just, I don't know. It was a little, I don't know.
Stretched too thin.
Stretched too thin, yes. That's a perfect way to sum it up. All right, getting into trivia here. We actually have some decent trivia with this.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Compared to what used to be, what we're used to, there's actually a bit. In an interview with Crave Online, Don Wilson claims he not only worked on and pitched the script for director Sheldon Lettich, but was also set to star. Wilson states that he has been searching for a producer to finance the film when he called Lettich months later and found out that not only had his role been recast with Jean-Claude Van Damme, but filming was nearly complete. That really sucks for Don Wilson.
Yeah.
DMX was originally signed to play Terrell Singletary, but unfortunately was handed a prison sentence.
That's ironic.
Yeah, I know, right? DMX was quoted in FHM, "I'd rather have gone to prison anyway."
Oh, man.
Darren Shalavi was hired to double Jean-Claude Van Damme, but left to work on the film 300. Who cares about that one? Besides Darren Shalavi.
Who's Darren Shalavi?
I'm assuming basically just a stuntman.
Okay. Was he the one who they thought tried to have him killed in Las Vegas?
Yes, I think so. I think.
Well, he didn't look anything like him anyways.
I know, right? 300 worked out better for him.
Yeah.
Razak Dowdy, and I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, who plays the character Wayne Barclay, had a hand in writing the lyrics to the movie song The Hardcore and sing some of the vocals.
Huh.
This is the fourth Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that was directed by Sheldon Lettich. The 3 previously were Lionheart, Double Impact, and The Order.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
Huh.
I was like, that name sounds familiar, but it's not no Ringo Lamb.
Getting there, though.
Yeah, man. All right, now moving on to some quotes. Wow, there's more trivia than there is quotes here. And the only quote is from Vivica A. Fox.
That's funny.
"Welcome to Wayne's World." I don't even remember that line.
No, me either.
There we have it, man. That was it for the hardcore. Up next, we have Second in Command, also from 2006, where Van Damme plays Commander Sam Keenan. So, without further ado, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed that episode. If you watch the hardcore, I say watch it at 2 times the speed.
Yes.
You'll feel a lot better. And it won't last you close to 2 hours while watching it. If you really like what we do, please consider going to patreon.com/podbros. That helps us out a lot. Or if you shop on Amazon, go to our link at podbros.com. Scroll down, hit that Amazon link. Guess what? It doesn't cost you anything, but helps us out in the long run. Lastly, please rate us 5 stars and leave a review on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher or podcast app.
Either or.
Either or. Really helps us out. Thank you guys so much. This is John.
And this is Jeff.
And you have been listening to another episode of the Jean-Claude Van Damme cast. Jeff and I have a don't ask, don't tell policy.
Let's go. Come on, little man. Show me what you got.
In the ring, you don't get it, do you? I'm not looking for a fair fight.
They leave you on it. The end result's gonna be the same. What you got?